people are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize.
Angel Reese once confidently claimed that fans watch women's basketball because of her. A daring statement. At least until you see what really happened when she came back to LSU with the Chicago Sky. You'd expect Baton Rouge to welcome her with open arms, right?
So I think it's time to finally, end the argument. End the argument that there is any sort of other needle mover that is even remotely close to Caitlyn Clark in the WNBA.
But nope, that 13,000-seat arena was barely half full, with only about 6,300 fans showing up, and that's being generous. Caitlyn Clark had fans spending thousands just for tickets, and her preseason game sold out. Quicker than you could say delusional hype. The contrast, absolutely brutal. We've got the photos Angel Reese probably wishes she could erase. Rows of empty seats, $15 tickets untouched, free passes handed out, and an uncomfortable silence hanging in the air. Remember when she said she was bringing attention to the game? Well, it looks like that attention was focused somewhere else. If you're Team Caitlyn, drop a CC is the needle in the comments below. Let's go.
Thrown down.
They didn't open the upper bowl. They did not open the upper bowl, and the lower bowl was half empty.
So let's break down why this LSU homecoming might have hurt more than one of Reese's signature missed layups. And no, this wasn't just any regular game. This was supposed to be her moment, her triumphant return to the campus that turned her into a star. The same campus where she once danced on national television holding a championship trophy. The same place where fans used to chant her name like she was LSU's very own Beyoncé. This was meant to be her big comeback, her chance to return as the hometown hero.
The Chicago Sky go into LSU, the home court of Angel Reese. Man, it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be lit.
Instead, it looked like a ghost town with a scoreboard. Social media pictures from that night are spreading fast, and let's just say they're not exactly flattering for Reese. Massive portions of the arena sat in total silence, entire sections completely untouched by a single fan. We're talking wide gaps of empty plastic chairs, full rows left bare, and the upper bowl. It was never even opened because they couldn't fill the lower one. For someone who says she's changing the game, the scene felt less like a WNBA star's grand return and more like a forgotten open mic night.
In case you were wondering, I did do the math. How many seats were actually left last night? Over 6,800. In a 13,000 capacity arena, there was over 6,800 seats still available. And some people were saying, by the way, that literally there were some $15 tickets out there.
And here's the most ironic part. Tickets were practically free, deeply discounted, and in some cases, literally given away. Most seats averaged just $15. That's cheaper than parking at most NBA games, and less than a movie with popcorn. Still, fans didn't show up. You could have offered a coupon and a selfie, and those seats would have stayed empty. The woman, who insists she's the reason people care about women's basketball, couldn't even pull half a crowd at her own alma mater. Let that sink in.
It was at under 50% capacity. And obviously, look, the area of the crowd where the TV cameras are being shown was full. But it was under 50% capacity. There's no one in the upper bowl, and it's half empty the other one, which is not ideal.
Let's get a little math nerdy for a second. To hit 50% capacity in that arena, they needed at least 6,670 fans. Angel didn't even reach that. She missed the halfway mark by around 300 people. That's not a close call. That's a complete miss. And when someone talks as much as she does about revolutionizing the game, failing to draw more than a D-list concert crowd isn't exactly the flex she thinks it is.
Nobody showed up to this sucker. Nobody. Let me just blow this. Look at that. I noticed it right off the bat. Look, number one, look at all the purple seats down here in this lower bowl section. And then the entire top bowl, forget about it. Forget about it.
Even the broadcast team seemed to realize something was wrong. Every camera shot was cropped tighter than one of Reese's TikTok videos. But unfortunately for Angel, social media exists, and fans didn't hold back from posting the raw, unfiltered truth. Images of an arena echoing with awkward silence, and seats just as empty as her claims of superstardom.
There wasn't anybody there. It wasn't even half full.
You might be thinking, okay, it's just one game, so what? But here's where it gets comical. Angel's been talking for months about how she's the reason new fans are tuning in, claiming she's the spark behind women's basketball exploding in popularity. But numbers don't lie, empty seats don't lie, silence doesn't lie. She can post all the Instagram reels she wants. 6,300 fans in a 13,000-seat arena is all the fact check anyone needs.
Right here, this was last night's attendance. 6,373 fans showed up to watch Angel Reese and Haley Van Lith. And by the way, she did get a very good pop.
This was supposed to be a full circle moment, a hero's welcome. Instead, it turned into a PR disaster wrapped in a participation trophy. The very place where she built her brand didn't even show up. Her so-called ride-or-die fan base clearly had other plans. And if Angel Reese can't pull a crowd at LSU, then where exactly can she? Now let's talk about the player who is actually bringing fans to the game, Caitlyn Clark. While Reese was playing to silence and awkward camera angles, Clark was busy packing entire arenas. Her preseason game in Iowa wasn't just full, it was electric. Every seat taken, every fan on their feet, and scalpers could have made rent off those tickets. The demand was wild, the energy unmatched. Clark doesn't just draw crowds. She creates unforgettable moments.
Look at all those empty seats, folks. That is crazy as hell. I mean, empty, all that. Never mind all this. They could have put black tarps over it. Look at that. Look at that. Look, the WNBA still got problems. They got problems over and beyond one player. I don't know what they do about it.
And this is where things really start to take a hilarious, popcorn-worthy turn. When tickets for Caitlyn Clark's preseason game at Carver Hawkeye Arena went on sale, they didn't trickle out over a few days. They didn't slowly crawl to sold-out status over a few hours. Nope, every single seat was snapped up in 27 minutes flat, less than half an hour. That's faster than it takes to order pizza and regret your topping choices. Fans were refreshing their screens like they were trying to get Beyoncé tickets, and we're talking about a preseason game. That kind of demand doesn't just hint at star power. It shouts it with confetti cannons. The contrast between these two? It couldn't be louder. Angel's big return felt more like a retirement party no one bothered to RSVP to. Meanwhile, Clark's preseason outing felt like a national holiday. One rookie's struggling to fill a room in her own backyard, the others being treated like a rock star wherever she goes. People are fighting to see Caitlyn play, rearranging, vacations and buying flights. This isn't just hype, it's real stardom.
I'm making this video because at the end of the day, we're still seeing like all of this like stuff online about, oh, you know, there's so many needle movers, like Caitlyn Clark is not the needle.
Clark has single-handedly turned preseason WNBA games into must-watch TV. Meanwhile, Angel can't even get LSU to care for one night, and sure, you could make excuses. Timing, marketing, weather, whatever, but let's be honest. If she truly had that kind of pull, fans would have shown up the fact that they didn't say more than a press conference ever could.
We can finally stop. I think we can finally stop the arguments. We can stop the whole there's more than one needle mover as far as attendance goes as an individual. I do think there are teams that people show up to watch, Like, I think the Aces do a pretty decent job. I think the Liberty, in fairness to them, do a pretty decent job. But when we're talking about individuals, there's only one that people are going to go out and watch. And it's not Hailey Van Lith, and it's most definitely not Angel Reese.
And it's not just this one game. It's a trend everywhere Clark goes. Ticket prices soar, jerseys fly off the shelves, and social engagement skyrockets. She's not just changing how we watch women's basketball, she's redefining who watches it. Angel Reese can talk all she wants, but while she's talking, Caitlyn Clark is out here delivering. Now let's really think about this. Fans are dropping hundreds, no, scratch that, thousands, on resale sites just to see Caitlyn Clark in action. And not in playoff games, or even games that actually count. These are glorified scrimmages, the basketball equivalent of a sound check. Still, people are digging deep into their pockets like it's their civic duty just to watch her live. Who does that for preseason? Oh right, superstars, game changers, icons in the making, Caitlyn Clark.
Not even 50% sold out is crazy. Carver Hawkeye sold out 15,000 in 27.
Meanwhile, on the opposite end of the hype spectrum, Angel Reese's preseason homecoming felt more like a Groupon event. Tickets were going for just $15, and even that seemed a bit too steep for most. You could have brought a date and grabbed snacks for less than the price of a single Fever resale ticket. And still, fans were like, hey, maybe next time. Imagine offering the basketball equivalent of dollar store deals and still watching the crowd bail. Things get even crazier when you realize that opposing teams are now upgrading their arenas just to host Caitlyn Clark and the Indiana Fever. That's right, they're moving games to bigger venues because their regular ones can't handle the Clark effect. That's not normal. That's not just hype. That's a traveling economic boom wrapped in a pair of sneakers. Every time Clark hits a new city, local vendors are smiling and team accountants are high-fiving. She's not just a player, she's a stimulus package.
I mean, when they would sell out, it was because the Indiana Fever came to town.
And with this massive divide between who's drawing fans and who's drawing yawns, the question practically answers itself. Who's really putting butts in seats? The stats have spoken. The ticket demand has spoken. The empty and overflowing arenas have spoken. And all signs point in one direction: Caitlyn Clark. She's selling out venues faster than Swifties sell out world tours, while Angel Reese is struggling to fill even half the building at her own highly anticipated return. These aren't hot takes. These are cold, hard facts. And before anyone tries to blame it on college loyalty, let's shut that down right now. Caitlyn Clark is packing arenas she's never even played in. These aren't just Iowa fans on a road trip. These are basketball fans from everywhere of all kinds, coming together to see her play. Meanwhile, Angel couldn't even fill the gym where she literally built her brand. If the very fans who cheered her through a championship season can't even show up, then what are we really talking about here?
The needle is Caitlyn Clark, and you can add realistically whatever you want. You can add Hailey Van Lith, who's a huge name. Like, say what you want about Hailey Van Lith, she is an absolutely massive name as far as the WNBA is concerned. So you can add her to the Chicago Sky, and her going back to LSU, albeit like Hailey Van Lith played 1 year at LSU and she was terrible. And it's going to be empty. It is going to be literally empty.
Remember when Angel Reese hit social media with that bold proclamation? She didn't just hint at her importance, she said it outright. The reason we're watching women's basketball isn't just because of one person. It's because of me, too. That's not a misquote, not media spin. That's straight from the source. A public, confident declaration that she's one of the main forces behind the rise in women's basketball viewership. Bold, powerful, but where's the proof? Interviews, because now we've got the receipts. The literal receipts. Attendance numbers don't require interpretation. They are what they are. And the numbers from her LSU homecoming paint a picture that looks more like a wake than a welcome. If Angel really has that kind of impact, where were the fans? Because they sure weren't in those seats.
Continue to say, look, Angel has got a career as a content creator, as an influencer, Insta face.
And here's the truly bizarre part. Angel Reese has millions, and I mean millions, of social media followers. You'd think with all those fans hanging on her every post, they'd show up when she hits the court, but nope. Crickets. It's like her entire following vanishes the moment a basketball is involved. Apparently, people are way more interested in her outfits than her offense. Let's be clear, 6,300 people in the stands is what you might expect for a quiet mid-season college game, not a headline-making WNBA homecoming for a self-proclaimed viewership magnet. If Angel's really drawing all these new fans to the game, they must have gotten lost on the way to the arena. Or maybe they just stayed home to scroll through her Instagram stories instead.
Oh, people watch for Me Too argument is age bad, and that's an argument that I'm like, okay, yeah, it makes not entirely false, but like there are levels. There are levels.
This whole situation makes you wonder, are we watching a baller or are we watching a brand? Because it's starting to feel like Angel Reese is better at content creation than crowd creation. Is she a star athlete or is she a viral personality who occasionally dabbles in layups? Because one of those puts fans in seats and the other puts filters on selfies.
Angel Reese fans are not basketball fans, and they are proving it. They proved it last night without a shadow of a doubt.
Her famous quote about bringing eyes to the game was completely torched by the turnout at LSU. You can't spin away that many empty seats. They scream louder than any tweet, TikTok, or headline. Say whatever you want online, but when the turnstiles aren't spinning, the hype falls apart. Let's call it what it is. Angel Reese is starting to look more like a social media influencer who happens to wear a jersey than a bona fide basketball draw. Sure, she's got the sponsorships, the fashion deals, the attention, but where's the in-person support? Where are the fans willing to show up, spend money, and chant her name from the rafters? Spoiler, they weren't in Baton Rouge.
Angel decided to come out, and she said, I'm going to play the victim. Or, well, the victim, yeah, and the villain. People are watching for Me Too. No, they're not. No.
The truth is out, and no filters can fix it. The narrative about Angel Reese being the next big thing in women's hoops is starting to crack loudly. And no, it's not just haters noticing, it's everyone. Because if you can't even fill half an arena in your own college town, the one place where you should be a legend, then it's time to admit the disconnect between the talk and the turnout. At the end of the day, the fans told the truth. They didn't show up. That's the harsh reality. While Caitlyn Clark has people practically fighting over seats and crashing ticket sites, Angel Reese had $15 tickets gathering dust. The battle for who's really growing the game isn't even close. And if you're looking for the answer, just count the chairs. If you ride with Caitlyn, comment CC in the needle down below. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen and we'll see you in the next one.
Interesting. So everybody is watching for Angel 2. This arena has a capacity of 13,215 fans. In case you're wondering, in order to get that place half full, you need 6,607 fans to show up.
Connect between the talk and the turnout. At the end of the day, the fans told the truth. They didn't show up. That's the harsh reality. While Caitlyn Clark has people practically fighting over seats and crashing ticket sites, Angel Reese had $15 tickets gathering dust. The battle for who's really growing the game isn't even close, and if you're looking for the answer, just count the chairs. If you ride with Caitlyn, comment CC in the needle down below. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen and we'll see you in the next one.